So, if you've heard anything about Hanya Yanagihara's huge and, let's be honest, famously devastating novel, A Little Life, you know it's a book that people either hold incredibly close or find almost impossible to get through. And in this explainer, we're going to try to get to the very heart of that reaction. We're going to dig into the story's powerful exploration of friendship, trauma, and really the absolute limits of love.
And really, this quote is the perfect place to kick things off. This is pretty much the core idea of the entire novel. It's the anchor in a story that, believe me, is always threatening to just get swept away by darkness. It's suggesting that the most important relationship we can have isn't necessarily romantic, but this deep, unbreakable friendship that's built on pure kindness. And that idea? It's the foundation for literally everything else that happens.
All right, so the story kicks off in a way that feels like a classic New York story, right? You've got four young guys right out of college. They're ambitious, they're talented, and they are completely inseparable as they try to carve out a life for themselves in the city.
And here they are, our quartet. First up, you have Willem. He's the handsome actor, the heartthrob, but he's also got this incredible well of kindness. Then there's JB, the artist. He's sharp, he's ambitious, and he loves being the center of attention. We've got Malcolm, the architect from a wealthy background who's steady but also quietly insecure. And then there's Jude. He is the absolute center of gravity for this group. He's a brilliant lawyer, everyone adores him, but he's also a complete enigma, carrying a kind of pain that his friends can see but they just can't even begin to understand.
You know, in those early years, their friendship is really forged in the fire of being young, broke, and ambitious in New York. They have this weekly dinner at a cheap Vietnamese restaurant. The food's not even that great, but it's their spot. It's their ritual. And it's all built on that shared struggle and, the simple, powerful act of just showing up for each other, no matter what. This is the bright, hopeful start to their story.
But the book takes a sharp turn, and pretty quickly. What started as a story about four friends starts to narrow, and it becomes a story about one of them, Jude, and the crushing, inescapable gravity of his past. The whole narrative just shifts from this hopeful future to a history that is violently, terrifyingly alive in the present. And the thing is, the novel doesn't just give you his backstory in some neat, tidy flashback. No, it comes at you in these horrifying little pieces, these intrusive flashes of memory, all tied to places. And we start to hear these whispers of a monastery in South Dakota. And then we get these hints of the Southwest, of these lonely roads and these anonymous, terrifying motel rooms.
And then Montana, and a boy's home. Each place is another layer of pain, another piece of this awful puzzle that once you start to put it together, reveals a childhood filled with just unimaginable horror.
And this quote just nails why Jude can never, ever escape what happened to him. It's not just a memory he's dealing with, it's a physical thing. It's there in the scars that cover his body, it's in the constant, chronic pain in his legs, and it's in this deep, unshakable belief he has that he is fundamentally broken and disgusting. His past is a biography he can never close the cover on.
So that brings up a huge question, right? What in the world can possibly stand up against a past that powerful? And the novel's answer? Its only answer is love. Not just romantic love, but the fierce, unconditional, unwavering love of the family you choose for yourself.
And we see this love most clearly in two people. First, there's Harold, his old law professor, who ends up adopting him when Jude's already in his 30s. Harold's love is, well, it's paternal. He wants to fix Jude's past, to write over it with a new history, to give him a safe future. But then you have Willem, his best friend. And Willem's love is different. He doesn't try to fix Jude, he just accepts him, exactly as he is, right here, right now. He's this constant, stable presence who doesn't need to know every horrible detail of the past to love the person standing right in front of him.
And this all brings us back to the book's central idea of what friendship truly is. It's not just about having fun or having things in common. It's a commitment. It's like this unspoken promise to bear witness to someone's entire life. The boring parts, the miserable parts, and yeah, the occasional moments of joy. And to just keep going, to keep showing up. For someone like Jude, this is the only thing that's keeping him tethered to the world at all. Which of course leads us to the absolutely devastating core question of this entire book. As Jude's trauma keeps bubbling up in self-harm and in his total inability to believe he deserves love, the story becomes a test. Is this profound, all-consuming friendship, is it enough? Is any amount of love from the outside strong enough to heal a wound that deep on the inside? And this all builds to one of the most powerful scenes in the entire novel.
when Jude has these awful night terrors, when he wakes up completely lost in the horror of his past, Willem develops this incantation. He doesn't argue with the trauma. He just chants Jude back to reality. He defines him, not by what was done to him, but by who he is now, by the people who love him, and by the simple fact that he survived. It's this beautiful, desperate act of love. It's like he's trying to build a whole new reality for Jude just using words.
But in the end, the book leaves us with this haunting, unresolved thought. It suggests that even the biggest, most powerful love in the entire world might have its limits when it comes up against a pain that has convinced a person they don't deserve to live. It asks this gut-wrenching question: what do you do when all your love is a lifeline for someone who is absolutely determined to let go of the rope? And it's that question that makes A Little Life so completely unforgettable, and for a lot of us, so profoundly heartbreaking.